Do you sometimes run out of things to say? Well, this is how to never run out of things to say. First, it's normal and it's tough to carry on a conversation. It's not something that's usually taught in school. A lot of our families maybe weren't very good at it, and it is essential in order to survive in the world to carry on conversations. So, what do you do if you want to never run out of things to say? Well, think about when you first meet someone. First, I would say you want to repeat the person's name and associate that name with someone else you know by that name. Someone's name is one of the sweetest sounds to them. It's one of the first things they ever heard. So you want to know it. You want to remember it. And so when you meet someone, you might say, "Jim, nice to meet you, Jim." By saying it twice, it solidifies it into your brain. And then think about, do I know any other Jims that I can associate this person with? Second, think about appropriate conversation openers. The setting matters here. If you're at a gathering of people, you might say, "So, how do you know the host?" Or if you're at an RV campground, you might ask, "Where are you from?" If you're in a business setting, you might say, "What brought you to today's networking meeting?" There's so many different ways to have the setting match your opener. Next, you want to evaluate, is this a setting for a longer conversation or a quick conversation? If you're on a first date with someone, you're probably not going to have a 5-minute conversation. Whereas at a networking event or at a conference, you may have faster conversations with people. It's important to make sure you know, because if you're having too long of a conversation in a short setting or too short of a conversation in a long setting, it makes things feel awkward. When you're looking to keep a conversation going, ask follow-up questions. People love to talk, especially about themselves. And so if someone says something, ask some follow-up questions. If you're stuck, here's a few that might get you going. What was that like for you when that happened? How did you decide that? What did you do next in that situation? Getting deeper into the story of what happened is a great way to keep the conversation going. Next, think of similar experiences that you've had and share just enough that they want to ask some follow-up questions. This is a great way to gauge whether or not the person you're talking to cares about what you have to say. If not, they may be trying to tell you that they want to be done with the conversation. If the conversation gets to a standstill, if it feels like the conversation has run its course and you want to keep talking, you could ask new questions about upcoming changes in the person's life, such as what holidays are coming up? How are you going to be celebrating those? What weekend plans do you have? Or do you have any interesting travel or books that you're really excited about? When you're in a conversation, you want to make sure that you watch people's body language throughout. If this is on a Zoom call or virtually, as often happened during the coronavirus, you still want to look for those telltale signs that someone wants to exit the conversation. Lastly, if they asked you a question, ask them that same question back. If they ask what you're up to for the weekend, ask them the same thing. That then allows the ping pong game of conversation to continue. Whether it's in person or online, now you're prepped so that you never run out of things to say. Comment below on what your first steps are going to be.